Hey everybody, welcome back again, and today I'm taking a look at another brand new figure. This may be the first one that I've seen in a video online, and that's going to be X-Transbots MX-4 Abaddon, which is their version of a Galvatron. Now, this figure has been kind of in a design purgatory, I guess, now for 10 or so years from the time that it was originally announced, and I think it may hold the record now that Fans Toys has released Berserk as the figure that's taken the longest amount of time to get from design to actual production. So, without any further delay, we're going to go ahead and get into this and see what we've got going on. I got mine from Agabus, super quick shipping, as always, ordered it Monday when it became available, and actually just got it today, Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. So, let's get into it. Alright, so here he is in the package with the kind of standard X-Transbots packaging. Fairly large box, so let's take a look at the artwork. The artwork actually is really cool. I love the artwork on their Cyclonus as well as their Scourge, and this just kind of completes that trio of Decepticons. So on the front we've got, like I said, the really cool artwork. On the side we've got some more artwork, and then on the back the typical X-Transbots packaging. It kind of looks like those old school G1 toys. So let's go ahead and get him open. And oh wow, he comes in a styrofoam clamshell. I was kind of expecting a plastic clamshell here for this guy, so that's a nice little surprise. Let's flip him over. And here we go. So, wow, really good looking figure. Very cool blast effect. So in the packaging, I see that we do not have any instructions, none in the box. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but we do have some alternative faces. So we've got a number of faces here. It looks like we've got 6 or so with various expressions. And really good looking face sculpts here that we've got going on. So we've got some grimacing, laughing, smirking, agony, I guess, and teeth grinding. So very cool. And let's put these off to the side. And then we've got this really cool blast effect that I presume will fit on his cannon. Very cool looking. This is a rigid plastic, so it's not like that kind of gummy plastic that came with the Fans Toys versions of this figure. And then we've got his collector card here. So, pretty standard. And then the figure itself. So let's get him out of this packaging. Oh, this is the other accessory. So we do get a matrix on a chain that we can throw around his neck. So very nice looking. Kind of some dull bluish teal there for the inner matrix, and then we've got brass colored and silver plating on it. So very cool looking. Seems to be fairly well made, and I can't really get that. Oh wow, very cool. So the matrix does separate into 2 pieces. I don't know if that's by design or if that's just a QC issue, but I can't get this part of the matrix, the chain, off. So there we go. And then now we've got the figure itself. So really good looking figure so far. The finish on here is, I can already tell right off the bat, is a little bit different than the finish and the aesthetic that we got with the recent Fans Toys FT59 release, which was their second version of Sovereign. But taking a look at him, really nice looking paint. A little bit more purple than I was expecting. A little bit, definitely more purple than the Fans Toys release. But very nice paint. I love the way the collar looks here. Very animation accurate. Kind of pearlescent white in the face. Same thing with the legs. One thing I will say, I like this cannon. I think a little bit better than the Fans Toys. One, because it's not quite as large, not quite as long, but two, it just is contoured to me. That looks a little bit more cartoon accurate. So very good looking there. So let's take a look at the rest of him. So I will say the back of him cleans up really well. There's not a whole lot of backpack. Definitely not as much backpack as there was with either one of the Fans Toys releases. So you can see it's very flat there. So quite a bit different looking. And I'll bring the other two in a little bit later just to illustrate these differences. So let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. So on the head, we've got it on a ball peg. We do have a little bit of an armature here where we can get him looking down. We can get him looking up. The head goes all the way around. On the arm, looks like we've got a friction joint here that goes all the way around. And elbow articulation, we do get better than 90 degrees right there. That was one of the disappointments with the Sovereign 2.0 figure, is you didn't get as much arm bend as you did with the original version of Sovereign. At the wrist, we get wrist all the way around. And for finger articulation, we get thumb on a pin, and we get 3 fingers articulated together with the index finger articulated separately. For waist, we get waist all the way around. And do we get a ab crunch? We do get an ab crunch on a really strong ratchet there. It feels really nice, very sturdy. And then at the hips, we can get the leg up about that far. Now we can articulate this piece down a little bit, and you can get that leg straight up. You can get forward. We do have some hip skirts, and you can get forward a good bit. We do have rear hip skirts that let you get the leg back a little bit, but you can't get quite as far because you run up against this hip skirt, but you still do get a good bit of back on that. And then at the knees, so it looks like you get better than 90 degrees at the knees. This is kind of a weird articulation, but it's similar to what we got with the Fans Toys releases. But this one, you can get the knee articulated there, but you kind of expose the inner portion of the transformation there. But if you use just the knee there, you do get just a hair more than 90 degrees there, and then you can get the rest of the way back. But I probably won't use that articulation point. And then at the feet, we get a little bit of toe down, but I think that's probably a function of the transformation, or foot down. We do get toe up. We get just a little bit of ankle tilt, not a whole lot though. We're limited by this piece right here that doesn't let that rock back and forth. But overall, really good looking figure. Here is his cannon if we want to get kind of a good view of that cannon there. I don't believe this is removable, so we can't change the position on him, so it's kind of at the side of the arm. But I tell you what, let's bring in the other two Fans Toys releases just to kind of get a little bit of a comparison. We'll take a look at him with Sovereign 2.0 real quick, and just you can kind of get an idea there of the difference in the cannon. Sovereign 2.0 has a much longer cannon. I think this one is a little bit more accurate looking. Looking at the backpacks, you can see, as I mentioned before, the backpack on X-Transbots is lays a little bit flatter than it does for Sovereign 2.0 at least. And then obviously the color. So I know that they're going for the Toon aesthetic here. I don't know how crazy I am about the pearlescent white on the legs. I know that metallics don't necessarily translate well from, you know, a cartoon aesthetic to trying to replicate that in a toy. And this is probably more accurate in terms of the absolute color that you would see in the cartoon. But I just think the paint that we've got on Sovereign 2.0 looks a lot better. I really like that metallic there. Let's put him off to the side, and we'll bring in Sovereign 2.0, or Sovereign, the original Sovereign, FT16. And you can see that, you know, there's quite a bit of difference there between the two. Color-wise, this one is more obviously closer to Sovereign 2.0 in terms of color. But if we look at the backpack, you can see the difference in backpacks there. You can see the difference in the cannon. So yeah, there we have it. So again, I'm super excited to have this figure. I really had kind of given up all hope on ever actually seeing this. I really thought that X-Transbots was just gonna quietly drop this one and never release it after Sovereign 2.0 came out. And so I was really surprised late last year when they indicated that it was very close to being released. So this was kind of a last minute pickup for me originally. Like I said, I wasn't going to get it. But looking at it, I'm really glad that I did get it. It's a good looking figure. Couple things I don't really love about it. I don't love the side skirts here on the leg being articulated from the leg instead of from the waist, but again, that's just a minor thing. But overall, yeah, I would say he's a really good looking figure. If you don't have either one of the Fans Toys releases, you know, I would definitely consider going with this one. If you already have, you know, Sovereign 1.0, Sovereign 2.0, probably wouldn't necessarily get you know, this one if I were making a recommendation. I think he would be a great replacement over the original DX9 Tyrant. But again, you know, everybody's own preferences. But yeah, overall, really good looking figure. Glad I got it. Looking forward to trying to get this thing transformed and see what it looks there. But again, I really appreciate everybody watching. If you like this content, please like it, please subscribe, and I'll continue to do more. Thanks for watching, everybody.